You can't hear it. But our neighbors have been thumping above our heads for days now. Now, most of the time it's the kids. But even when we go in and there's adults and we ask them to keep it down, we still get a bunch of thumping. And you know what the sad thing is? I'll probably miss it when they finally move out. Because it's all I know. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is my I'm a dragon until I have coffee mug. We are not going to go through that whole thing again. I say it every time. So we won't. We just won't. Not again. You know what I want to say though. Anyway, today's tea in that mug is our Davidson's Organics Tulsi Mellow Mint. I have tried this tea twice now, once earlier today actually. The first video where I actually did my first sip of it, I had to trash it. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. Trust me, it was a mess. It's a huge mess. So this is not going to be a first impressions as usual at the beginning. We're going to go ahead and give a sip and we will get started. I think our coffee mug might be a little too big. The mint is in there, but it is not coming up nearly as strongly as I remember it. And this has been steeping for at least 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So it should be at full strength, unfortunately. When I first tried it, I had actually put it in my favorites to want to purchase in the future. It may still go there, but the prices of some of these teas are so high that having to double bag them to get the strength that I like is a little expensive. So I think I'll go ahead and keep a bag in there for future reference in case I ever want to buy another mint. But I suspect that it's not likely to happen, even if I manage to get through all my other teas. We'll just put that out there. Even if I get through everything else and I want to go ahead and pick up some more mint, I don't know if this would be it, just based on the fact that because of the size of coffee mugs I use and the way I like my tea, it probably wouldn't be strong enough. Anyway, so today I am reviewing the last specialty CurlBox I got. I know it's a little early for a review, but I've tried them a couple of times. Most of them. I think one or two of them I've only tried once. Let's just get into it. So this line was the Earth Supplied Textured Hair Care. Their new line, I guess. And it came with a sulfate-free shampoo. It came with a very strange leave-in conditioner. Hold on, let me check it. It came in with a leave-in conditioner, and I will show you why it's strange when I review it. It came with a curl poppin' activator, a creamy defining Gell-O, which is also another one that's very strange, and a shine and hold mist. So yeah, let's just so the shampoo, we'll start with the shampoo. First of all, it does have a sulfate in it. I don't care what it says. It's a sulfonate. Some of these sulfates that they have in here that they claim that they don't have are very mild, but they're not sulfate free. Anyway, this has creamy. It lathered up quickly, though the lather also started to fade quickly, and it has a strong scent. Left my hair dry and tangled. Now, to be fair, I was noticing some dryness before using it. I thought maybe it was the gel I wanted to wash out. but my hair was easily detangled until I used the shampoo. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't, and was easily cut through with conditioner. I had to use one of my regular conditioners since there isn't one in here. But there was literally no slip. The dryness was pretty consistent throughout my hair, so no extra dryness on my ends, which is interesting considering how sensitive they can be. Yeah, this, I wanted to use it a second time and I just couldn't bring myself to do it, basically because with it being winter and my hair already struggling with some dryness, I didn't need anything additional. It does have glycerin. Glycerin is number 6. It does have things like the shea butter, but those are near the bottom. So this, no, I'm just going to go with no. Let's just keep it simple. No, we'll go no. This whole line was just very odd, I'll tell you that. So the Earth Supply Textured Hair Care Leave-In. This is so weird. This is practically solid. I have never seen a leave-in like, I've never seen a leave-in like this. I mean, it's seriously, it's worse than, well, it's almost like Crisco. Honestly, it reminds me of the consistency, the texture of Crisco. It's very, very thick. It's very solid. You get a lot. On the positive side, there's no glycerin in this. There's no, the shea butter and the acetyl alcohol and all the good stuff is towards the top. But for something that's supposed to be concentrated, I had to use a lot to feel like it did anything for my hair, which is concerning since it's practically solid. Does smooth out easily in the hands. After using both the shampoo and this, it felt like this leave-in was sitting on top of my hair. Now, I used this more than once. I only used the shampoo once or twice, I think. And I don't have notes from the second time on the shampoo, so I'm assuming it just wasn't much better. My wet curl wasn't very good, and there were wet flyaways, which usually tells me I'm going to have worse flyaways when it's dry. I ended up scrunching some of the leave-in out just to reduce the heaviness, which helped some. The scent was also really strong. I can barely smell it, but it's kind of, they all had pretty close to the same scent. I can't even describe that. It's almost like they tried to get the sea breeze fresh stuff and it just didn't quite work. It's, I don't know. It's just very, very weird. Let's go with that. It was strong enough that even if I could get the line, even if I get the line to work, I still wouldn't keep much of it, if anything at all. Thank goodness the EBW coconut shea elixir cut through the smell. I don't like coconut, you know that, but that really helped to reduce the scent of these products. The second time I used it, this one, I used a small amount, even though I felt like it wasn't doing anything for my hair. I thought maybe the first time that the fact that it felt like it was sitting on my hair was from how much of it I used. So I used a very small amount and it felt like it softened my hair and it even started to encourage the curls a little. It's likely I used too much the first time, but also my hair was a bit wet less at that time, the second time. So that may have helped. But either way, just, again, no, I'm not impressed enough to keep it. I've got my Adwa, so anything that's going to be a leave-in particular is really going to have to knock my socks off. And this wasn't even as good as some of the leave-ins I had before the Adwa. So just not impressed. You'll find that that's going to be a theme. I'm not impressed. Not impressed with this one. Not impressed with that one. Not impressed with the other one. Honestly, not impressed with this line. Just putting it out there, not impressed with this line. All right, so the curl activator. So first of all, right off the top, I can tell you I hate this application. This thing puts out a very narrow, thin line. I hate it. I hate it. If I'm going to use a curling cream, I really need you to give me some cream on my hair. That's the starter. Secondly, the glycerin is number 3 on this, which is a problem for my hair, as you all know. And thirdly, it has methyl sulfate. I do not know why you need a sulfate in your curl activator. That doesn't make any sense to me. This one actually doesn't say, well, no, it does say no sulfates. Now, methyl sulfate is apparently a very mild form of sulfate. But if you're going to claim to not have sulfates, then you shouldn't have that either. The shea butter is near the top. The coconut oil is near the top. The cetyl and sterol are in the middle. It does have hydrolyzed keratin. So there's those. This pump is too stiff. It puts out too little. And while the cream did seem to start bringing out a little bit of my curls, one, it didn't do a lot, and two, it didn't start clumping my hair together the way most curl creams do. My hair, it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't, the way I diffuse now, it breaks up the clumps. But when I'm applying a curl cream, I actually like to see the clumps because that tells me that the curl cream is working. I also like to see some curls. So even in my wet hair, I'd like to see something happening, and very little was happening with this, and it just really didn't. Again, it's a no. It's a no. And I used this one 2 or 3 different times at least. I was trying it with different combinations. I tried it. I just wanted to make sure that what I was seeing was what I was seeing, because I don't think I've had anything quite this disappointing since Palmer's. And the problem with Palmer's was one thing and one thing only. It had isopropyl alcohol, which dried out my hair. This does not have that. But it wasn't doing anything for my hair either. So yeah, just, I don't know. This whole line was just freaking weird. So the Gell-O. I'm not even gonna look at the ingredients. Glycerin is the second ingredient. This one is so weird in general. First of all, it's more like a, what is this? I think I mentioned that when I opened it. That's a very strange, it's not, I don't know, it's a very strange consistency. It has, I believe, some sort of starch in it. Give me a minute. I know I said I wasn't going to look. It has pectin, corn syrup. That was the one that made me go, what? So yeah, it has a couple of ingredients I've never even seen in other products that I've used for my hair. I do not know why you would need corn syrup for your hair. It's very strange. Anyway, they have very strange ingredients. So when I tried this the first time, it honestly is very weird to get the right amount for your hair too. It started off straightening what little curl I had, but did do the clumping that the activator didn't, and it made my hair very wet again. As you can see from the consistency, it would do that. When scrunched, my wet curl wasn't looking very good but my hair did develop a cast as it dried. The first day I used these, I had to air dry, which is not a really good test of a product for me because I don't usually air dry, but I had to air dry because I had other things I had to get done at the time. I don't expect great curl on full air dry days because my curls don't handle the water weight well. It really does elongate them in the back in particular, which I have trouble getting any kind of wave into. Right now I've got a little bit of a wave back there, but if I have to air dry, that whole section usually ends up straight just from the weight of my hair and the water. This ended up worse than usual. There was curl, but literally no volume. Literally flat on my head. And what curl I did have wasn't that good. Plus I could feel a residue on my hair, which I hate. Honestly, it's the one thing that makes me leery about most ethnic hair care products is getting that weird, getting a residue on my hair. And I know you're not supposed to touch your hair, but I just hate, I hate it. I just hate it. My hair never did feel dry, even like 6-7 hours later, but also didn't feel like anything from the products had actually soaked in. On the plus side, there was actually minimal frizz, which is amazing considering the amount of glycerin I was dealing with. The second time I used the activator and the gel, and like I said, I didn't use the shampoo. I wasn't going to put my hair at the risk of more drying. So the second time I used the activator and the gel, I gave them some of the best base possible, which means basically I used my Adwa. I used my coconut shea to co-wash my hair. I used my Adwa deep conditioner as a regular conditioner, which means I put it in, left it in for about a minute or two and rinsed it out. You leave it in longer than that, it does act like a deep conditioner. And I use my conditioning leave-in styler from Adwa. That usually provides a very good base for any other products I'm trying. I also only did a set diffuse, which takes my hair to maybe 50% dry. Again, it's not doing what I would normally do and going the whole way with drying. But it does help with the curl a little bit more. Just make sure that there's less flatness. I can usually get volume on the top with that, even though I'm still got, at least 2 hours of drying time after that. The curl looked good, but I was already noticing frizz starting at the 50% point. I didn't feel a residue at first when my hair dried, but it did feel oddly slick, and I had an almost oily appearance to it. Curl was decent and pretty good for a quick diffuse and air drying. And later in the day, I didn't write this down, but later in the day, I was touching my hair and I was starting to feel greasy, and it was very strange. I'm telling you, this product line is just so weird. I have never had the problems I've had with this line. It's just very, very strange. So again, I tried them a couple of times. I actually tried one of them at one point I needed to refresh, but I didn't have the time to do the refreshing the way I would normally do it. I normally do a rinse refresh, which means since I take a shower pretty much almost every day, I just rinse out my hair. I don't co-wash it. I don't shampoo it. I just rinse it. And then I apply my products again like I would normally. So I even tried it that way, and it was just, it's a mess. It's a mess. I'm sorry. The mist I only used once. And again, I don't even look. This did seem to help restore the softness and even improve the curls a bit, but they still lack their usual volume, which is really saying something because my hair. I found a new way to get volume with the way I diffuse, but when I first started using these, I hadn't figured that out yet. It's amazing what your curls journeys take you to. Anyway, and so you all know the biggest thing I have trouble with is volume with my hair. It's just not one of those hair types that gets a bunch of volume. It grows in kind of flat from the root, and even when it has curls, the only place I really get any volume normally is at the very bottom. Like I said, I found a new way that's helping with that. It's not looking really good in here today, but it's helping with that. So when I say something is giving me less volume than usual, that's horrible. I mean, there's no volume, pretty much. Hair is flat on my head. It's just not doing anything for me. And as I suspected, the frizz was a bit over the top. It also worsened that weird oily residue that I was feeling that first time. And the scent by the time I used this one was overwhelming, even though it eventually fades. It is not a scent I like. It is not a scent I want to subject myself to in the future. This whole line was just I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really wasn't happy the first time I used these products, not with any of them. So unhappy that I finally used my gentlest co-wash to get it all out, even though it meant sleeping on damp hair. But I decided to try them again after using my Reset and Restore products. That's the Adwa with the Eden Body Works. They are the products that I will go back to in between trying new stuff or when my hair is feeling particularly wrecked, which it was. So I will go back to those products for a few days, for a week, 2 weeks, whatever I need to do to make it so that my hair feels like it's finally back in its normal healthy position or place. So then I tried to use them again after my hair felt restored. Later attempts to use these resulted in hair that still looked stringy, despite being freshly washed. God, that was terrible. I didn't notice that the first time I used these because I was so involved with everything else that was going on with these. The second time that I used them, I was like, it literally, take these little strands that you see, these little flyaways, and make them oily and put them all over my head. It was terrible. It was, I don't even know. And there was no volume. Even with methods that work for me, I have a new way of diffusing my hair that actually brings up the volume. It does increase the frizz, but as you all know, I'm not even going to complain about the frizz because we are getting curl, which is what I'm worried about. So I have a new way of diffusing that really gets me some volume, especially later in the day. And even with those methods, my curl was flatter, the frizz was worse. And even when there was no residue early in the day, by evening there was a residue and my hair felt oily. This line, this whole line, I can't recommend it to anybody, honestly. I tend to give things to my neighbors, and I don't even know if I want to do that. Honestly, I just want to throw them right out. To me, they are just so bad that I don't know if I want to subject anyone to them. That being said, there are other people on the CurlBox Instagram that are saying that this line really worked for them. So I will probably give them to my neighbors just because it's not a total waste. However, for me personally, this was one of those rare boxes from CurlBox. It was a complete waste of my money. There's absolutely nothing in here that I would keep. Nothing. There's nothing in here I would recommend. Nothing. Nothing at all. I mean, I suppose if you have extraordinarily dry hair, I could recommend the curl cream and the gel. I would not recommend the shampoo. Yeah, wouldn't recommend the shampoo. So the curl activator and the gel, probably. Maybe the leave-in, but this is a terrible line. I'm sorry, Earth Supply. You guys know that I try to find positives with stuff. That I can't find anything positive about this line to say, unfortunately. It just really, it wrecked my hair, but not in the way that I'm used to having my hair wrecked by some products. I'm used to them drying my hair out. My hair is sensitive in that way, and the ends in particular will dry out very, very quickly with certain things. And the shampoo did do that, so that was actually kind of expected in a way. But the rest of this, I just don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really want to come up with something positive to say, and I can't. I don't like to do that, but I also know that if you're one of my curly girls, you're going to want an honest review of the products that I'm telling you about. And I'd rather not just not do it, because then some of you might try it and end up with some of the same issues. Now, some of you might try it anyway because, like I said, if you have particularly dry hair, the curl activator, the leave-in, and the gel might work for you. That oiliness may not show up. Maybe if you have high porosity hair where stuff just gets in right away, maybe that'll work. Mine is medium porosity, so it can take a little bit for stuff to get into my hair, and these just never seem to do it. So I'm sure, like I said, on the CurlBox Instagram, people are saying that there are those who are saying that it worked for them. If you have my hair type, I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe for kinkier hair, this would work, but for my hair type, I go up to a 3B on my curls. I have medium texture, medium porosity, probably on the lower end of medium density. If you have hair like that, I can't recommend these at all. I just can't. This is terrible, and I feel bad about it. I really do. I really want to be able to say something positive, but this line was just, I can't recommend it. I can't. I just can't. It's just, I can't. That's why it's so soon too, because I'm not going to try it again. There's just absolutely no way I'm picking up this stuff and putting it back in my hair. Just none whatsoever. If you have kinky hair and have tried this line, let us know down below how it worked for you, because I really want somebody with more positive things to say to tell my people, my peeps, you are my peeps, my dragynettes, that it did work for them and which products actually worked and all that stuff. Anyway, that's it for the day. And if you like what you've seen, probably not. Like I said, I really do try to come up with positive things to say about stuff. This line just isn't it. It just hasn't worked for me. So if you like what you've seen, regardless of us being a little on the negative side today, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 2 days a week. It's Monday and Friday, but I'm probably going to be moving to Monday and Thursday, just to be aware. And we also have bonus videos, however, so if you want to see those are on days when I don't normally upload, and we'll include things like indie brand openings. We just had one of those. My son's Geek Box also just had one of those, and subscriber mail, the few times it comes in, and different things like that. And in the summer, we are going to be trying to bring back our container gardening. So if you're interested in any of that, you are definitely going to need to have that bell rung. If you're part of my notification squad, you'll probably want to check both your bell and your subscription to make sure they're both still active. If you choose not to subscribe, well, after today's review, I don't blame you. Just don't. It's terrible. And I didn't mean for it to be terrible either. But we won't blame you at all. We'd be sad and we'd be disappointed. However, you're always welcome back again. And if you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. I have no hopes for this right now. She has cooled off a bit. Still warm. Not cool. She's still warm. But I honestly think my mug is a little too big. We'll give her a sip and we'll get on our merry way. Yeah, I'm getting the mint. It's in there, but because it's so mild and the mug is too big, I do believe it's the mug being, this is more than 8 ounces. This is probably closer to 12 ounces, maybe 16. So having one tea bag in there, it's coming out really watered down. It wasn't a bad tea the first time, and I'm very sorry that you guys had to see it when it wasn't. This has been horrible. At any rate, I'm going to get myself out of here now while I can, and wish you all a good evening. Bye.